back. We are joined by Dr. Preety Desai this afternoon. She is a laser implant periodontal specialist, which means she knows teeth well. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Susan.
We're talking today about an interesting concept, but it's something that is really growing in popularity, and it's called dental tourism. If you haven't heard about it before, Dr. Desai, maybe you can tell us what it is.
Well, dental tourism is dentistry done overseas, and it's part of a huge industry right now, a subset of medical tourism where people go overseas to have transplants, surgery, and dentistry done as well.
I can imagine that there are pros and cons to this. The biggest pro, of course, that people do this for is they're getting a vacation and they're getting a cheap surgery done. But cheap doesn't necessarily mean better, does it?
It definitely doesn't. The companies tend to market very heavily, show glossy pictures on the website, show high-tech instruments and technology. That doesn't mean quality.
What kind of countries are really popular for this type of adventure?
For North Americans, Mexico is the #1 destination, but also Central American countries like Costa Rica, Nicaragua, they're also popping up as well, and Asia.
And so, can you give me an example of how much money you would save on any sort of particular treatment? Can you give me an idea?
This is from hearsay. Patients who would get treatment here would say pay $100 for treatment. In Mexico, it would probably be $10 to $15. A huge savings.
See, the first thing I think of when you hear something on with such a savings, you got to ask yourself, why can they offer it to you so cheaply? Can you give me an idea of where the costs are being cut?
#1 is the cost of materials and equipment is so much higher in North America. You could buy the same piece of equipment or dental implant and it would be 1,000% cheaper in Mexico to buy it, same implant. On top of that, labor costs are so much cheaper as well. It is literally slave labor.
Well, I've heard in Mexico that dentists there, and Mexico is great, I'm not slagging Mexico, I'm just hearing that general practitioners there can take a course on dental implants and then immediately begin practicing that work. There's not a lot, the training might be different in some countries.
Very much true, but that can even happen in Canada. You can take a weekend course and start placing implants right away too.
Really?
Yeah, it's not necessarily specialists who are the only ones doing dental implants.
Fair enough. I'm glad you brought that up. Tell me this, what happens if you go to Thailand and get some work done on your teeth or whatever, and then you come back and they fall apart? What's the recourse? Is there any?
Well, that's one thing that you must be educated on before you leave to find out if something goes badly or incorrectly, what recourse do you have? Right now, a lot of these companies are organizing the tours to Thailand or Mexico. They make you sign a waiver saying they're not legally responsible. So you're kind of left on your own.
What are the most popular treatments people go away to get done?
The most costly ones are dental implants, crown and bridge work, and some aesthetic stuff. Those are the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak.
Okay, so you're encouraging people to really take a good look at the research, do your homework.
Do your homework, know what your dentist has suggested for you, compare apples to apples, talk to people who've been there, talk to people who've done it, and had evaluation done back in Canada and saying, is it really what you thought it was going to be? It's like me going to the car mechanic. I don't know what I'm looking at under the hood. I go to my friend who's a car mechanic and ask their opinion.
Absolutely. And of course, people approach you about this and ask you, is it worth it to do this? And you tell them to do their homework. Of course, you offer all of this where you are here in Kamloops.
Of course, yeah. But I do, if people are interested in the cost savings, then I will price out treatment as anybody here would and say this is line by line what you should have done, no more, no less. And you can go ahead and compare, below the border.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to add? I know it's a huge growing industry, so it's good to give some light to this because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I feel that hopefully there's going to be some more awareness from the dental supply companies to address the costs that we as Canadian dentists pay. And hopefully that'll drive some of the costs down to have maybe implants covered by insurance, which it's not. And, address the everyday realities of people forking out a lot of money.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, if we see that many people leaving, something's got to be done here to make it more reasonable.
Absolutely. Hopefully they'll open their eyes.
Absolutely. Dr. Desai, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Susan. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. Information is on the screen, kamloopsperiodontist.com. You can check out some of the options and find out some information. Certainly you can phone as well and ask any questions you have.